Now we're recording. Look at that.
Okay. Okay, I can begin now with, hi, I'm Bob Weir with another interview of People in the News in North Texas. My guest today is Flower Mound resident Stephanie Bell, who is running for mayor in the May 1st town election. Thank you, Stephanie, for taking the time to spell out your views on issues affecting our town. Now, if you would, please begin by telling us a little about your past and current participation in matters affecting our community.
Absolutely. And thank you, Bob, for having me. And thank you to my neighbors in Flower Mound for taking the time to learn more about me. My very first community outreach, I was 18 years old, and I helped build a home with Habitat for Humanity. And it was there that I would develop my love for my community. Now, I also volunteer with North Texas Food Bank. Their new location, by the way, is amazing. And I'm currently the elected president at our local Toastmasters chapter, where I help train and develop folks around DFW in leadership, communication, and negotiation skills. It is there, while utilizing Robert's rules, I manage all of our meetings. I keep the order.
Excellent. All right, so let me begin by asking you, what do you see as the role of the mayor, and why do you think you could fulfill that role?
Great question. Thank you for that. As the mayor, we are the face of the community. We serve the community. We also set the council agenda, and we ensure that the meetings are managed well, effectively. As an executive leader, I manage my daily meetings with integrity, passion, and care. I am very experienced in effective leadership and look forward to working with our council.
All right, as far as the issues, what do you think are the most salient issues facing Flower Mound going forward?
Good question. Certainly the town development projects always tops that list. The town is interested in its growth, as it should be. And every election cycle, we hear all the buzzwords, right? We hear slow grow, smart grow, fast grow.
Managed
Uh,
growth.
exactly. And unfortunately, those hard lines, they've been drawn in the sand. My goal is to bridge that gap and bring communication and data to the very forefront of every conversation in every meeting.
Well, then, are you satisfied with the residential and commercial growth during the past few years?
You have all the great questions today. I'm mostly satisfied with the growth and development. Have there been projects that have made me question and tilt my head and wonder what's going on? Of course there have been. Flower Mound's not magically going to stop growing, however, let me be clear there. That's not how this works. Year after year, Flower Mound is rated one of the fastest growing cities in America. We're 10 miles from DFW Airport, one of the largest airports in the world. We're 30 miles from Dallas or Fort Worth, two of the largest cities. Growth is inevitable, but we have to grow intelligently. We shouldn't say no just for the sake of saying no. We need to start listening to each other. We want to see the absolute best offers that our town has. We want to see the very best with our master plan as our guide.
Yeah, so, and everyone would agree with you, of course. We are in a prime location. This is wonderful living here in Flower Mound.
Absolutely.
And the airport, of course, was a magnet for the growth. And so we're always looking for quality growth, let's call it. So
Absolutely.
Then we have to determine what is quality growth. So do you have any idea of what quality growth is?
Certainly looking into the mass, we see all of these projects. Everybody has projects. And when we speak about quality, there are those lines in the sand. And nobody wants to see apartments right now. I think the direction has really been drawn towards apartments. A lot of folks are anti-apartment here. Full disclosure, I actually lived in the Lakeside apartments. Nobody wants to see any more apartments. We feel like, it certainly can denigrate a lot of what we have going on in Flower Mound. And I too am not wanting to see any apartments. I don't think right now that is the best play. But we have to consider all of the data that is presented in front of us. I am open to every conversation. I'm always open to every plan that is brought before me, but I like to speak with data and facts and moving forward. In terms of quality, we have to speak with data. Unfortunately, Flower Mound doesn't have a lot of data. We like to look at things like Frisco. We're never going to be a Frisco. We don't have a highway running right through us. We're never going to be a Frisco, but we have to work with data. And I don't think that's been happening. And certainly the conversation has been stalled due to those firm lines in the sand.
Yeah, and of course, when you talk about apartments and any residential growth, what residents are concerned about, of course, is the accompanying traffic congestion that comes as a result of it. So that's a difficult one to deal with because you have to have growth, and who can do anything about the traffic? I mean, if you could find somebody that could handle the traffic flow, that person will be elected mayor by acclamation.
Absolutely agree with you there. I, this is an often debated topic, right? This has been debated for years. Do we move from 4 to 6 lanes? I mean, it's been debated, right? And am I concerned about the growth? Concern's a strong word, right? I prefer the safety of my community over saving a few minutes in drive time. That's, at the end of the day, that's my view on this. It's often debated. I stand strong that residents should not have to pay for ill-planned projects before them. Moving forward, we need to have learned our lessons. We need to approach this a little bit differently, look at the data, have the conversations. Should residents pay for, again, ill-planned projects? Absolutely not. Let's keep the safety at the forefront here.
All right, let me move on to something in the bio you sent me, which is in the written portion of this interview. You said Flower Mound is in excellent financial shape. Could you elaborate on that for us?
Absolutely. One of my favorite topics to chat about. Flower Mound has been rated AAA since 2014. Well, what does that mean? AAA is the highest bond rating achievable, and it helps the town continue saving millions. I said millions, yes, with an M, through low interest rates. We wouldn't like it if our bond rating fell because potentially we'd end up having to pay more to entice borrowers to invest in us. So we should have a really great amount of pride with having that AAA bond rating.
Uh, what is the current property tax rate for Flower Mound residents?
Good question. Our property tax rate is 0.4365 per $100 valuation. It's the same tax rate as the previous year, and it continues to be the lowest the town has had in more than 35 years. That's right, 35 years. Now, due to a rise in home values from the Denton County Appraisal District, this results in a 2% increase in property tax revenue for the town. Effective tax rate is thrown around a whole lot during election cycles. We've seen it for the last several years. The effective tax rate is the percent of their income that an individual or corporation pays in taxes. Effective is a fancy word for average.
Okay, how about the Riverwalk? It seems to be coming along with a few restaurants under construction. Do you feel satisfied with the progress?
Satisfied is a fun
I
word
know,
there.
I know. That's one of those questions that you got to be
Loaded.
quick.
Yeah, exactly. When we moved into the apartments at Lakeside, only the nail salon was open. Later, we spoke with the business owners like Orlando from the barbershop, Richard from Epic Gelato. We learned the extensive challenges they faced in opening. Now, the Riverwalk has had its own challenges, but as a resident, no, I don't think that I would say I'm satisfied with the progress. I think many of my neighbors would agree with me. However, it's worth noting, and as you know, the town does not own the land. The town does not develop the property. The developers have to answer to this. To answer your question, no, I'm not very satisfied.
Yeah, well, the developers made certain promises some years ago. I mean, but they don't always fulfill the promises.
Correct.
Okay, how about this? Would you have voted to establish a TERS zone, tax increment reinvestment zone for Lakeside Village?
As you know, a mayor, we only split a tie. However, yes, I would have voted to establish a tours at Lakeside. A tours is a zone or a designated area where incremental tax revenue will be designated for specific uses. It's a baseline is set, and all valuation above those levels and revenues from the property taxes are pledged to the defined specific use. For example, we have a tiers to thank for the beautiful expansion of our library. If you've not been yet, go check it out. It's stunning.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we've sometimes made decisions based on emotions over data. I believe this to be the case with the Lakeside Tiers. That was one of the examples here. We had clear data and advice from professionals, may I add, and we voted against that.
Uh-huh. Okay, let me see. Well, we've covered some of the major topics. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we close?
Well, I want to thank Mayor Dixon. He's been a fantastic leader. I've enjoyed watching him on all of the town hall, the council meetings, and for Deborah. Really, Deborah is just fantastic with what she's done,
Yeah.
and all of the wonderful town staff that we have here in Flower Mound. As I've been going around, I've seen firsthand, you're the best of the best, and we're so proud, so thankful that you call Flower Mound home. As your mayor, I would look forward to working with you. Thank you for all you do. And thank you, Bob, for the great interview. Lastly, to my neighbors, early voting starts April 19th. Vote for integrity and leadership. Vote for your neighbor. Vote Stephanie Bell for mayor. Thank you.
And of course, we have 5 people running for the spot of mayor, so it's going to be an interesting election. And as we know, if you don't, anyone who doesn't get 50% plus 1 vote, that will be in a runoff. So that should be interesting to see how that works out. Stephanie, do you have a web page you'd like to mention?
I do. I have steffieb.com. You can also find me on Facebook. I'm sure you'll find that social media link directly on my website as well for easy access.
All right, and those will be in the written portion of this as well. So I want to thank you again, Stephanie, for this interview and wish you good luck in the election. We'll be, I'm going to be the moderator for the forum on April 8th at the town hall. So
Wonderful.
I look forward to seeing all of you there and have an interesting debate.
Thank you, Bob.
Have a good
Absolutely.
weekend.
And you. Thank you.
Bye.